Shalom, it's the 14th of August, and I want to share with you some exciting things I discovered this morning in Hebrews 2 verse 13. The phrase in Hebrews 2:13 referred to the children, or to his children, and that's a quote from Isaiah 8 verse 17 and 18. Actually, both phrases in that verse are both quotes from Isaiah 8 verse 17 and 18. But as per usual, we need to study the foundational message in Isaiah 8 in order to understand Hebrews 2 verse 13. Now, we've done that in chapter 1, we've started that in chapter 2, and now in verse 13 it's no different than the other revelations. And yet again, it's end time context. Not that I'm bending the scripture to fit that, it's just the context of that verse. Now, what's interesting, chapter 8 starts with Yahweh telling the scribe to write down the following name, which is Moher Shalah Chash Baz, which is the name of the newborn baby, the son of a prophetess. And that is in context. He said, before the baby will cry father or mother. Now that also links to the previous context, which I probably didn't share with you yet, about the spirit of adoption crying Abba Father. That's also in Galatians and Romans. So we yet again see in Isaiah 8 the crying of Abba Father from the newborn baby, or when the baby grow up. But it says in Isaiah 8 that before the baby will be able to cry that, he will take back the spoils from the king of Assyria. Now, the name Moher Shalah Chashbaz means to hurry, to take spoil, to hurry, to take the spoil. It's basically the same thing repeated twice, but using different words. So I went in this morning and I analyzed each one of those words just to see what it's about. So the first one, Moher, is to hurry, but with anxiety, out of fear. The context is found where the three men visited Abraham, and it's in the context of the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where Abraham hasted and went to Sarah and said, please make cakes so I can give to my guests. So it's all about serving, the faithful people of Yahweh serving prior to the judgment of the world, basically, which is depicted by Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's the state the world is in now. So we need to be anxious, have an urgency for serving, for doing things for Yahweh at this last minute. Very important, just like Abraham had that urgency. The next one is Shalah. That's spoil and booty, and and if you go to the root word, it actually means to pick up. And that's in the context of Ruth, where Boaz told his men, let her pick up from the droppings within amongst the sheaves, and also drop some more so she can pick up more. So it's all about the context of the harvest. And Boaz is another picture of Messiah. And Ruth also depicts, similar to Abraham, depicts the people of Yahweh who will be there during the harvest, who will harvest from amongst the sheaves. Now, the sheaves represent the nations in the world. So in amongst them, the harvest will take place. And please note that Ruth is not raptured. She needs to be in the field during this time in order to do the harvest. So the first one set the stage. We're in the pre-warning phases of there's going to be judgment for Sodom and Gomorrah, and then Abraham pleaded. Then Then we're in the next stage where the harvest takes place, with Ruth doing the work of the kingdom, helping with the harvest. The next one is chash. That also means to haste, to do things quickly. And this is a word that is to be hasteful or have an urgency, but excited about experiencing pleasure, about getting something that is a blessing, to hurry to grab hold of that, to take hold of that. And that's in the context of Numbers, I think it's 34, where Moses spoke to Reuben and Gad to say, we're about to cross Jordan. You need to gather your armies and battle against the enemy. And then cross the Jordan, do the battle, and then you'll get the inheritance. So what you are excited about is inheriting the land. That's our inheritance, is the land. Yahweh's inheritance are the people. So we now have a possession of the land. We may now live in the kingdom. We've got blocks of land to give us, animals and fields and all that. That's the context of that whole passage in Numbers. And we're excited about our inheritance, which is entering into the promised land. But still the context is crossing the Jordan. Crossing the Jordan has to do with the harvest. If you listen to my previous studies on trumpets and Sukkot, I think I've done 2 years back, it's all about the harvest. And the wine press and the gathering and, wheat and chaff and all that, the separation, which is actually also the meaning of the word Baruch, which is sun. So all of that has to do with the end times. And now the last word, buzz, is not Buzz Lightyear. It's a word that means spoil and booty. But it is in the context of a verse in Genesis where the sons of Jacob went amongst the dead bodies and collected their spoil and take hold of their inheritance, in the context of the promised land, of course. So with these 4 words, we first of all see the first scene, which is there's going to be a judgment. Hurry up, do some work and prepare. The second word has to do with the workers of Yahweh, Ruth, helping with harvest. The third one is about take possession, but remember there's some enemies to conquer and you will have an inheritance. And the last one is taking the inheritance, which is Buzz, taking the spoil and taking what's yours. So all of that is in line with the end time. So a very powerful message in Isaiah 8. And it's all connected to Hebrews chapter 2, verse 13, which talk about the children. So the children are the nations who are the inheritance of Yahweh that will come into the kingdom, and they will be adopted and they will cry, Abba, Father, just like this newborn baby, Moher Shalach Hashbaz, will cry, Abba, Father. So I'll leave you with that today. Hope you have a wonderful Shabbat, and I'll share the next message probably next week. So be blessed. Shalom.